All right. Hello, hello, and good evening. Getting ready to start this program for this evening. The debt payoff plan. Very excited. Just give a moment. Good evening. How are you guys doing today? So we're going to go jump right into it. 2023 is coming up. This is one section of a three-part series that we're going to do right now. And so you can sign up for the full course later. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and let me know where you're coming from, where you're viewing from in the chat. And if you have any questions while I'm doing this, go ahead and put your questions and I can see them. So hello, my name is Shakira Parker. I'm a financial literacy educator. I've been in the financial service industry for over 25 years. I started as a underwriter. An underwriter is a credit analyst. They're a collateral reviewer. They are a title specialist. They are income analysis, financial statements, and the like. So I'm really happy to be able to present this information and transition into sharing some information and knowledge that I've gained over the last 15 years. I've worked with some of the top Fortune 100 companies and banks as a analyst of reviewing all kinds of financial scenarios, primarily in the mortgage industry. And so anyway, enough about me. Let's get into you. This is 2023 that we're approaching. Some people may be thinking about going shopping. People may be thinking about their vacation. But that's all fine and good. But let's make sure that we plan that out so that we can make sure that we're setting up our future years for success. And really, that's what financial education and financial literacy is about. It's making sure that you have the tools and the resources required that when you get into a unique situation, that you know how to weather the storm. We want to make sure that if you were experiencing a hardship, that you don't experience a payment shock, that you're not having to tap into resources that you would otherwise use for your day-to-day or your month-to-month expenses. And so we're going to get into why is it so scary to talk about money? It's very difficult to talk about money with your relatives. It's difficult to talk about it with your parents, with your kids, and even your spouse. Well, why is that? It has to do with your money mindset. So we're going to dive right in. Again, I went into who I am. I'm also a long-time community organizer for local, state, and federal organizations. As a business professional, I've tenured with Fortune 100 companies. My background goes into contracts, it goes into finance, accounting, operations, extensive financial statements, passing through my team or through my hands. We review transactions in the millions. So it's really important about where you get your financial information from. So I'm going to ask you guys a few questions. Now we've talked enough about me. We want to talk about your mindset. We first said, why is it so hard to talk about money? So I want to ask you, what do you think about and how do you feel the moment you receive some money? So maybe you have a birthday card or somebody cash apped you just because they love you. How does that feel? Somebody gave you $50 and they dropped $100 on you. How does that feel? Tell me, please. Put it in the chat. We're having a little discussion right now. So here's another question for you. What do you think about and how do you feel the moment you run out of money? What do you think about the moment that you run out of money? So you realize when you're going through your bank account and you've done some shopping and then you look at it and it's getting a little lower than you'd like. How does that make you feel? Please drop your comments in the chat so that we can have a little discussion. The next question I have for you is, what are you telling yourself right now about your current financial situation? I want to know, this is how we get into the money mindset. And you can think about it just for yourself as well. When you think about where you are as far as your assets and your income and your expenses and how much you're making on a regular basis, how do you feel? How do you feel? Do you feel positive? Do you feel negative? Do you feel like, I have some work to do? That is part of your money mindset. Now, what are you not accomplishing right now because of your current financial situation? So there's something that you really want to do, but because you don't have enough money to do it, you can't make that move. You want to be able to, maybe there's something that you need to be able to go or buy, but it's going to really increase your quality of life, but you're just not able to make that move right now. So what are you not accomplishing right now because of your current financial situation? These are honest questions so that we can get to the past the uncomfortability of saying, I don't need to talk about money. I don't need to address money, because it can be a scary topic. It's very uncomfortable, but I think the uncomfortability is in the fact that we don't talk about it. I think the more that we know our financial situation, the more that we're aware of where we stand, then the less scary and intimidating the conversation will be, right? Okay. So what would you be doing different if money were not an option? If you were just balling out of control, what would that look like? What would you do? What would you do different? So these are some questions so we can start getting the uncomfortability out of the way. People don't like talking about money, even with their spouses and within their families, but it's very important. So let's talk about what financial empowerment is. So financial empowerment, how is it different from financial education, financial literacy, financial capacity, or other commonly used terms? So what is financial empowerment? So if you take financial literacy, with the skill and confidence to use the knowledge. So just a couple minutes ago, I was talking to you about making sure that you have enough resources and education so that when certain situations impact you, you know how to weather that storm. That's really what financial education is supposed to be used for, is so that you can make really good decisions for your well-being, so that it really so that money doesn't have a negative impact on your life. So as an educator, I mean, there's a ton of topics we can talk about. We can talk about senior living. We can talk about elder abuse. We can talk about what we call luxury vehicles. We can talk about student loans. We can talk about credit. We can talk about debts. We can talk about land trusts, anything and everything that has to do with finance. That's what a financial educator is able to give you information about. Okay. And this is all important because we want to make sure that you are empowered. You are empowered, whatever stage you are at in life and whatever stage your bank account is sitting at, that you have the necessary skills and knowledge to be able to make your financial decisions on a day-to-day basis or a month-to-month basis. So the NFEC, which is the National Financial Education Council, they say that possessing the skills and knowledge on financial matters to confidently take effective action that best fulfills an individual personal, family, and global community goals. That's their definition of what financial literacy is. So I'll say it again. Someone being able to possess the skills and the knowledge and financial matters to confidently take effective action. So again, making sure that you have all the important information so that you can make a good decision when you're impacted with a scenario, right? So I am also, within my title, I'm a risk analyst. So part of that is that I'm weighing out pros and cons, and that comes from being able to really decipher the facts that we have on the table, and everybody has their own individual situations. So you need to be able to have as much information as possible. So financial empowerment is access plus trust and opportunities for providing financial empowerment. So financial empowerment and service providers need to make sure that you have enough access, that you can trust the information that you're getting from, and that you have opportunities for providing financial empowerment. You don't want to just get your information from anywhere. So let me ask you, where did you learn about money from? Because we're talking about the part one of this series, and I'm doing just a little bit for the part one so you can know what the training would look like or what the webinar will look like. And we'll get into more specifics like on your individual situation. But this is just a sampling of what that training, what the training or the webinar would look like. So this is part one where we're getting into money mindset. So let me ask you, where did you learn about money? Was it the hard way? Most people learn about money from school of hard knocks. I wish someone, they have the saying, everybody says, I wish someone had taught me this when I was growing up, is the most common phrase. Well, you being here is you learning about money right now. And please have your kids sign up. We can do relevant information for age appropriate learning. The earlier you learn about financial information and financial education, the better equipped you'll be able to be going through your life as you make financial decisions. Okay. So did you learn about money from your peers? People ask their friends, they ask a person in your adjoining cubicle. You talk about it at work. You talk about it with anyone else that you think knows about money. Maybe did you hear about learning from a salesperson? Was somebody trying to sell you something? Were they selling you a car, a house, a product, a life insurance? Was someone selling you something? Is that how you learned about money? Many people get only financial advice from people who earn a commission. Although most mortgage brokers and realtors and financial advisors may give the best advice possible, often they do have a conflict of interest. And it's my profession, so I love you guys out there. But I do have to be honest. Most of those positions do have an interest in being able to give you the information. So when you can get the information from a financial educator, they're really just trying to give you information. It's very important of where you get your information from. So right now, the country has a financial illiteracy epidemic. And what does that look like? Well, it looks like poor financial habits, the lack of practical financial education, not being able to get a job immediately after college or vocational training. That's really hard. I mean, I have college age students who have graduated, and then being able to find employment right afterwards is sometimes a challenge. Why? Because they want to be able to have real life practical experience along with the college education. So financial literacy epidemic. We also have mistakes that compound these issues. So say you didn't have a really good grounding or grasp of financial information, then there becomes a cycle, right? And then we lack the confidence and the experience to make these decisions. We're asked to make financial situations every day, several times a day, whether you're paying for your electricity, whether you're paying for your internet, whether you're going to the gas station. Are you going to go to this gas for this, or are you going to go to this gas station over here? You're having to make a decision between the two. What are you going to eat? Are you going to stay home, or are you going to go out to eat? We're making financial decisions all the time, but we don't talk about money enough to realize how are these financial decisions that we're making on a day-to-day, how is it really going to impact us? And this is very important to understand. And it's all of these really minute decisions that we make that lead up to the larger decisions. So this is the reason why financial education is so important. We have excessive student loan and credit card debt. We spend more than we make. We spend more than we make. We spend more than we make. So we really have to be able to be aware of where the pitfalls are and be able to stop the bleeding. And this is what a financial educator is hoping to do so that we can have healthier and happier lives. All right. So breaking down this wheel a little bit under the financial literacy epidemic, let's go into income, credit, insurance, debt, and assets. So income. This income is money from work, your cash flow, your investments, if you received any benefits, in business endeavors. This is what income is. This is your stream of income. So these are the main areas of money management. Credit, it's your ability to repay money after you borrow it and the ability to access capital or any loan terms. So different people there's different types of loans as well. It doesn't just always have to be interest bearing. When a family member lends you some money, that's a loan. You have to pay that back. Unless somebody specifically says this is a gift and the terms are that you do not have to repay it back, baby, pay your money back. Okay? So your ability to repay money you borrow is the ability to access capital. Why is having the ability to access capital important, and why is it a part of a money management? Capital means money. Maybe you want to make an investment. Maybe there's something that you want to take advantage of. How close in proximity are you to being able to access capital? Insurance is a money management area. This protects your assets, your income, and your credit. Debt is a money management area. This is money owed on loans and other obligations. And your assets, so your cash, your mutual funds, your real estate, your annuities, your metals, bonds, securities, these are assets. And so I think maybe a couple of weeks ago, I posted that there's different ways to be able to get your cash up, whether from assets. And these are the categories. You're looking at mutual funds, real estate, annuity, metals, bonds, securities. Those are different categories for assets. All right. So how are financial mindsets formed? Well, it's $1 billion industry for advertisers and messaging. Our youth are inundated with over 1 million advertisements teaching them to buy, buy, buy. Advertisers spend more than $12 billion per year targeting kids. Children under 8 cannot discern between a commercial and a non-commercial. So this is from the American Psychological Association. So we really have to be aware, even as adults, the messaging that we're receiving. Just saw that lipstick, the eyelashes, the bags, the clothes, all of this when you walk into the mall, all of this is advertising. But how is this advertising affecting you? How is it affecting your day-to-day, your month, your retirement, your bank account, and your emergency funds? This is where you need to have your mind at so that we're not making knee-jerk purchases. Money mindsets are also formed through education. Most kids are not taught about money. Parents will talk about sex before they have the money talk. Isn't that weird? Many teachers and parents focus on youth, on the goal of college, and not achieving a dream lifestyle. It's really not about how much you make. It's about your quality of life. What are your goals, and how do you want to live? These are the conversations we need to have. So financial mindsets are also formed through your environment, your network of friends, and your circle. If you are around a circle who talks about business, so they talk about income, they talk about assets. If you're in a circle like that, then you're having money conversations. But think about if you're in a different circle where it's more about fashion and what people have. That's a different circle, and that shapes your mindset. If you're in a circle that is consumer driven, where when you guys are doing something, it's let's go over here to go buy this. Let's go to this mall. Let's go look for some shoes. It's all about buy, buy, buy. Even let's go out. Then it is shaping your money mindset. Influencers, that's part of your environment. They also shape your money mindset. Social media makes everyone the Joneses. Everybody wants to have what somebody else has. These people are commercials. Take advice from peers, from people in your cubicle next to them. That would be your environment. And sometimes that's how people are getting their financial information and how they're forming what they do. Education. Most adults never studied personal finance. Past experiences with money, advertising messages, emotional attachments to finances, positive or negative habits can get reinforced. So these are how mindsets are formed, and we have to be very aware and very cognizant so that we can make sure that we're making healthy decisions. So there is a direct relationship with money and emotions. Think about it. When I first started off, I asked you, how do you feel when you get some money? If somebody just dropped $100 on you, how do you feel? You feel good. You automatically think, ooh, I can go buy this or I can do this. I'm sure the first thought wasn't, I'm going to save this money. No, it was, what can I buy? That's your money mindset. It feels good, right? When you get some money in your pocket. Also, how does it feel when you don't have any money? It doesn't feel so good. So we have a direct relationship with money. And it's also what money buys us. Maybe you want to buy some ice cream. Maybe, you just got an award and so you want to celebrate. Maybe you want to buy yourself something nice. It's how it makes us feel. So many financial decisions are based on emotions and not logic. This is why we're spending so much time on money mindset, because you got to have your mind in the right place, which is all the time. Really map out what it is that you want and what your big picture looks at. And the remainder of our training, again, this is a 4-part series. This is just the first part that I just wanted to go over with you today. You can go on my website at www.shaikirah, CHAIKIRAH.com, so that you can sign up for the full course. So many financial decisions are based off of emotions and not logic. Humans are conditioned to move away from pain and towards pleasure. Nobody wants to feel that ouch or uncomfortability. Short-term pleasures are many people's first choice. This has an impact on how we spend our money. When you realize and you're getting towards the end, towards your paycheck day, or maybe it's just a week after you got paid and you're already broke or you're a little light on funds. That's because some emotional decisions were made instead of logically thinking about, should I make these purchases? And these are the conversations that financial educators want to help with. Many financial decisions people do not make that align with their long-term goals. I want to buy a car. Maybe I need some new tires. I want to go on a trip. I want to move into a new house. I want to, there's a host of responsible decisions and long-term goals that people have, but they're unable to attain them because they have not made good spending habits, and it affects their long-term goals. Because in the slide previously, as I just told you, is that when we make a lot of purchases and we make money decisions, it's based off of emotion. So we want to start changing our mindset so we can think about our long-term goals and what we actually want to accomplish. Often people don't create these long-term plans because it causes emotional stress. Woo! I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't want to think about that right now. Oh, I'll think about that later. Well, later never happened because you didn't think about it back then. So now when you're at the later, you find yourself in a financial bind because you never had that conversation with yourself. We have to start looking at our long-term goals and really being disciplined in our spending habits. Many people make financial decisions outside of their emotional comfort zones. What type of investor are you? Are you a penny pincher? Are you a balanced spender or an overspender? What are two emotion or characteristic traits that drive most financial decisions? Happy, sad? These are questions. So we do have limiting beliefs, which is you have to be good at math to be good at money. No, you know how much you make. It's your money. I'll probably end up just like my parents. We have to stop the negative self-talk. It's too confusing. Work hard, play hard, spend money. No, I have enough. I'm good. Okay. But then what happens when life throws you a curveball and you don't have an emergency fund? If you don't have reserves, then you're not good anymore when something happens, whether it's a medical, whether it's something that was unexpected. But these are conversations, again, to have with yourself. Limiting beliefs are money is the root of all evil. I don't care about money, but everything you do surrounds around money. If you're alive, you're listening on a device, you have internet, you have electricity, you have a residence that you're having to pay for, your transportation, even whether it's the bus or a vehicle or insurance, all of this has to deal with money. Money can't buy happiness. Probably not, but the quality of life can. I don't want to pay more taxes. This is a limiting belief. And people do the same with Section 8 or social services. I don't want to make more money because I'm going to have to pay more taxes. Having to pay more taxes because you're making more money is not a bad thing. We don't want to have limiting beliefs that cap our potential. Go out, go as far as you can, reach as high as you can. Your goals are going to be different than someone else's goals. It's going to be different than your next door neighbors, but be able to work your plan. I have an inheritance coming. Why are you so comfortable on that? These are limiting beliefs. You don't know that. You have to have the wherewithal to be able to work and to be able to provide for yourself and make good decisions for yourself, not depending on what somebody else may bring to the pot for you. This is what financial educators want to get messages out and to help your quality of life. So the negative financial cycle, so the lack of knowledge, it can come from fear, lack of confidence, freeze, act, or fast, right? Mistakes or lucky success. It can come from it's a negative cycle. So the lack of knowledge can make this go around. Some of the mistakes is regret, shame, embarrassment, fear. So we freeze up, we fear of loss, so we just don't talk about it. I just had a conversation today, and we were talking about mindsets and why is it so scary to talk about money. People don't want to make mistakes. They don't want to be faced with what they think is impossible. That's fear. So then you just freeze up. But I promise you, if you do nothing at all, it will only get worse. Work through it. Allow a financial educator to help you and work through it. We can sit down, we can make a plan. The more information you have, the more knowledge that you have, the better decisions you're able to make from your day-to-day, your month-to-month, and your yearly plans. And that's what a financial educator wants to get you to the point. If you don't know anything, this is everybody. You fear what you don't know. So let a financial educator, let me help you learn. So another mistake is that we hope. They don't take the action and hope that things will get better. It'll be okay. It'll work itself out. Okay. When does that just happen? We got to work on this, actually. Let's sit down. All right. And despair. It's just too overwhelming. It's just too overwhelming. I don't want to deal with it, and I don't want to talk about it. Right. And then it has the chest piece down. Well, that's not going to work either. You don't have to be in despair. You don't have to have shame or embarrassment because everybody needs help at some time. And I promise you, you're not the only one in the boat that you're in. But it's okay. It is okay. We can get through it. So take the steps to say, all right, I'm going to face my fears. I'm not going to have despair. I'm not going to be in the cycle of making mistakes. And I'm going to work this out. So, as a recap, financial mindsets are formed through your environment, your social economic background, the neighborhood and family situation, your role models, your parents, your peers, influencers, generation influences. Example, Depression era children often become frugal savers, cash purchasers, and low risk investors. Be aware of your influences. Be aware of your mindset. Be aware of how the people around you move and how it may be impacting you. Habits and relationships with money will be passed down from your parents. Be aware. And it could be good or bad. Maybe your parents are in a really good situation, so then you just think, oh, I'm good. Not necessarily. What impact do you think the current economy will have on this generation of kids and teens? These are conversations. So I'm nearing the end of this segment. During the actual seminar or webinar, we would have a lot more discussion. One of the things that I would set out or I would start with is doing an assessment. And you can do an assessment on my website so that you can get an idea of where you are or what areas in your financial well-being that we need to address. So do you have dreams for your children that require money to make them happen? Are you behind on your rent or car payments or other bills? Do you usually have about the same amount of income every week? When an unexpected expense or an emergency happens, do you have some money set aside to cover them? Can you cover all your bills and living expenses each month with money, benefits, and other resources that you have? Are you having trouble paying student loans or other debts? Has your credit history made it hard to get a car, insurance, phone, or a job? Do you have an account at a bank or a credit union that doesn't have any money in it? Do you feel like you're spending too much on things like fees and interest to access the use of your money? And have you had issues with financial products or services like a bank account, a mortgage, a debt collector, or credit report that haven't been addressed yet? These are just a few different questions. We can go into a lot more to start to get an idea of your financial health and your financial picture. So thank you again for being with me this evening. And I really appreciate you being here. I'm just going to close this down. All right, I'm going to remove this. So this was just one segment. Again, as I mentioned, this was just one segment. And so we have other segments. And please, sign up so that we can go over those with you and really be able to help out. All right. Well, thank you for spending some time with me this evening. And please reach out. Look forward to any products. Message me if there's something that you want to know, or is there something that you'd like to learn? I'll be running credit classes. We'll be running, assets. How do you make $1 out of 15 cents, right? Let's be real and let's be practical. And everybody's situation is different. And if you need some more advanced information, maybe you're an investor, self-employed, you're wondering how your cash flow is going to be impacted versus COVID. If you need to do some liquidity tests because you're looking at trying to apply for credit or something like that, as your financial educator, I'm pretty sure I can be able to, with my 25 years of experience as a lender, be able to address most of your situations. And if not, I'll find out and learn about it so that I can spread it. But thank you again. Here to help, and thank you for listening.